Pre-orders have been a staple of the video game industry since the late 1980s, helping publishers and developers forecast the sales of their video games and giving fans the guarantee that if they buy early, they'll get to play their shiny new game come release day. With the advent of digital distribution, the days of missing out on a completely sold-out game are long since gone. It might seem surprising then that pre-orders have not just persisted, but instead thrived and even more recently evolved to include the fairly new concept of early access releases, effectively pre-ordering an unfinished game that you can play right away. Pre-orders, even in the past, have often included some incentive to buy early. Early pre-orders may have included a poster, steel case, or some other physical collectible, but with the emergence of downloadable content, it's become much more common to receive in-game extras such as cosmetic items or the opportunity to start playing a few days earlier than the standard retail launch. These rewards often offer no real benefit to the player and more often than not are available for purchase after launch, effectively acting as a false incentive for customers to buy it now, securing money for the publisher. With many games now costing up to 100 AUD, pre-ordering a game offers very few actual benefits at a hugely inflated cost. During events like E3, the negative impact of pre-orders is a common topic. Leveraging hype to boost pre-orders can be a great way to generate lots of sales, but it's all too common to hear horror stories about games that utterly fail to deliver on their promises.
It is 4 times the size, 16 times the detail, and that sometimes it doesn't just work.
Modern video game marketing seems to have taken a page or two out of Hollywood's book. Big budget AAA titles like Battlefield 5 have thrilling cinematic trailers full of spectacle and stylized action, but often entirely omit any actual gameplay. When EA dropped a trailer for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, none of it was actual gameplay, and yet you could pre-order it for $99 on the same day. You're simply buying an idea at this point, an idea that you believe in, but don't know if the publisher has executed in an enjoyable manner. Then there's early access. Early access games burst into the scene in 2009 with the release of the ridiculously successful Minecraft. In the space of 10 years, Minecraft went from a small side project of one Swedish programmer to a multi-billion-dollar industry titan snatched up by Microsoft. It also being one of the first games to play cross-platform on not only consoles but PC. Just to give a scale. Before 2009, it was rare to hear the phrase early access in mainstream gaming circles. By 2013, Steam had its own early access marketplace. In 2019, early access games make up the bulk of new releases in most online marketplaces. But early access games are an enormous gamble. When you buy an early access game, you have no guarantee of ever receiving a finished product. Often, early access developers have no obligation to deliver anything at all. You only need to look back on the enormously hyped game Cubeworld to see a notorious example of a developer selling the shell of a game, promising more, but delivering next to nothing. There's no doubt that Cubeworld made a lot of money, but can anyone other than the developers say that they got their money's worth? Compare this to games like Squad, Don't Starve, Subnautica, or Kerbal Space Program. These games were in part or entirely made possible by crowdfunding and early access sales. Both of these enable smaller, independent developers to make games that otherwise would be prohibitively expensive and encourages potential buyers to vote with their wallets. At its most basic level, early access is pre-ordering at its logical extreme, buying a game that sometimes doesn't even exist yet. We buy games to play them. How does that add up?